in a slump, if they're taking a dip or a nosedive, this is the video for you. You have to stick around. Simply Shani here, former 4th grade teacher and now full-time 6-figure Etsy seller. If you're an Etsy seller, you know that it can be tough to maintain consistent sales throughout the year. Some months are busier than others, and it's important to understand the seasonal trends and niches that sell well each month. In this video, I'm going to share some tips and tricks on how to round out your shop with products that will sell throughout the year and give you some summer niche ideas that can help you boost your sales during the summer months. My profits did not dip in April. In fact, they exploded. They are doing fantastic and continue to do great as we are starting the month of May, which is when I'm filming this video. And this is because I understand the concept that we're going to be chatting about today in this video. And I have really implemented the strategies that we're going to be talking about, or this concept that we're going to be talking about in my shop over time, over the last 2 years. As you are aware of this concept and really work on it within your shop, the results really become exponential over time. Now, even though my sales are booming, I am seeing a lot of chatter and people are reaching out to me with comments about sales dipping and if that's okay. And of course that's okay. It just means that you need to implement some of the things we're going to talk about today. And I had to fumble my way through that the first year also. But when this idea was brought to me that very first year, I started to play with it and try to implement it the best I knew how to in my shop that year, and have continued to see and reap the benefits of it every year since then. Now, if you're watching this video when the video comes out, which is May, we are going to be focusing on some summer niches that are coming up 45 to 90 days from now. But the concepts that we're chatting about can be implemented at any time in your shop and should be implemented in your shop at any time. Before anyone becomes frustrated about their sales, and as you're looking at your sales and comparing them to the month before, you should never be really comparing to the day before. That's just not a big enough set of data for you to be making comparisons. But if you're comparing to the month prior, the 30 days prior to these 30 days, and you're seeing that there's a slump, before you get frustrated, let's take a look at your shop. A really honest look at your shop. How many items do you truly have right now in this very moment, at this very time, that are truly items that people are buying right now? How many items are on the shelf of consideration for someone that's looking today for a shirt that they want to wear? Now, this is work that you really should have been doing 45 to 90 days ago. You should have been thinking about, in May, what kinds of things are people buying? What kinds of designs are they wanting to wear? What kinds of events are they going to? What types of things are they celebrating in their lives? Now, for the months of April and May, these items might have included things like Mother's Day related items, Father's Day related items, wedding or bachelorette type designs, t-shirts, totes, gifts, things that help celebrate one's graduation, perhaps British themed things when thinking about King Charles' coronation, which was May 6th, taco related or Cinco de Mayo related things, maybe travel themed designs as people plan their summer trips. And this is just to name a few. But these are the kinds of thoughts, the kinds of questions you should have been asking yourself, and the kind of research you should have been doing 45 to 90 days ago so that you'd be prepared for April and May. So truly just take a second to assess your store, assess what is available in your store, and then take another look at your expectations and in terms of what you expected to sell. And did you prepare your shop well enough to truly sell more items than you did last month? And then take that a step further. Were you consistently listing those items for the last 45 to 90 days over time, sending those listings out in those niches that you chose to work in? Or could you have done better? I know the answer for me the first year, as I would gain a little traction somewhere and then it would dip and then gain a little traction and then dip. I started to understand, and I think about it very much like a train, and I'm constantly trying to build the tracks for that train down the road so that when that train gets there, it doesn't have to slow down or come to a screeching halt. I want to make sure I've got lots of listings that are going to sell during that time of year, and even better if it's connected to another niche that I was already working in. So for example, the teacher shirts that I put up during October aren't the same teacher shirts that I'm putting up during the month of May, but I'm putting teacher shirts up all of that time and every month in between as I dig into my niche. And the other niches also, same thing that I do with those niches. I am listing different things for each of those niches each month of the year. And then of course you can make targeted strikes on new niches. I know I did that this year. Usually my June dips down a little bit and my May is always better and my July is always a little bit better than my June. It's not a huge dip, but it usually does dip down. So this year I did start working about 2.5 months ago on a niche that I researched and thought, okay, well, it's actually 2 niches that I'm trying to get into. And I've been regularly listing in these 2 niches. One of them is taken off. The other one I'm still waiting for my chance to get it to take off. But I have made targeted strikes in these 2 places in hopes that my June will be right up there still growing. So we'll see together how that works out this year for me. We're going to jump into those summer niches here in just a minute. If you're watching this video in May when it comes out, these are some places, certainly not limited to just the ones I'm going to be chatting about, lots of other places. But I did look up some really good ones, some of them that I have made sales in myself, others that I haven't. But if I could clone myself and have more people working on niches in my store, I would add these to my shop. Before we get into those, I just want to recap what we were just chatting about. One, before you get frustrated with your sales, do a really reflective look. The more reflective you are, the more growth you're going to see from your Etsy shop as you're looking at why are things happening the way that they're happening. Did you have reasonable expectations for what your sales would be right now? How many items do you have in your shop that are items that really have a good shot of selling well right now? 2, think of your Etsy shop like a train. And once you get that train out of the station, that took a lot of gasoline, that took a lot of energy to get it to start to chug. Then it starts to pick up steam, it's moving a little bit faster. The last thing you want is for it to run out of railroad tracks and have nowhere to go. So your job after you get that train out of the station is to, as quickly as you can, build those train tracks so that train 2 to 3 months down the road has somewhere to go. Otherwise, the momentum really kind of dips and you're trying to rebuild the momentum back up. So as we gain momentum with sales in our shops, we want that momentum to work for us. We want other items to be able to take the place of the items that we're selling well. So we're always looking ahead at what needs to be selling next. Adding evergreen niches, things that sell year-round, that is always a good thing. But even evergreen niches, a lot of times we'll have different types of things that sell throughout the year. And even evergreen niches have maybe, some of their prime time. So obviously Christmas is going to sell more at Christmas time, but even like beer shirts, those are evergreen. But did you know that there's an uptick in that over the summer? Probably because something to do with being outside at barbecues and being able to drink craft beer outside and just being able to be in that environment a little bit more. Summer is a great time to sell on Etsy, and you can make consistent sales over the summer. You just have to have the right types of items, the right types of designs, the right niches in your shop so that you can make those sales. We're going to be focusing on things that should sell well 45 days from now, 90 days from now. Now, my rule of thumb is to list things I'm always looking 45 days, 90 days down the road. That's like kind of my window of things I've got my eyes on. Now, my rule of thumb is to continue listing until about 30 days from the event or from when I think that the time is going to be over for those sales to really be booming. However, if I'm making traction in that niche, then I might list all the way up, 20 days from that event if it's a holiday type of event, or 20 days from when I think the boom in that niche is going to be. If I'm not making any traction there, then at that 30-day mark, I'm no longer working on that. I'm putting that energy into another niche that's 45 to 90 days out. We're about to jump into the niches. I kind of categorize them into sections. We're going to talk about some water or beach related niches for the summer. We're going to talk about some outdoor activities that people would be buying shirts for or items for, print on demand type of items for. And then kind of just a category I'm calling other, because it's kind of a mix and match of a couple of different things. Now, just real quick before we jump in those niches, if you feel I earned a little like, please take a second to go smash that like button. That really helps me out on YouTube. If you are enjoying the video and you want to see more videos from this channel and want to join our group here, don't forget to subscribe so that you get alerted when we have a new video going out. All right, so let's jump into that first category of summer niches, the water or beach related design ideas. In the search bar here, I just put beach and I'm taking it in. Everbee is letting me know how many monthly searches there are on these different terms. Beach towel up there was 1,537 monthly searches. Beach shirt, 1,066. See beach wedding favor. Sometimes I just get more ideas from looking at that. Here we have a beach shirt, Sun Salt Sand. It's a bestseller. If we take a look at the information Everbee reveals about this listing, we see that it's only 2 months old and it's estimated to have sold 67 times in total, averaging about 34 sales per month. Here we have another beach shirt. I personally wouldn't try to do anything this generic. I would be trying to sub-niche down the beach niche, and I'll give you some ideas of that in just a second, and or cross-niche it with another topic. But if we take a look at this listing, it's only 1 month old, and it's already got a bestseller badge, and it's estimated to have sold 16 times in a month. That really just tells us that new listings can rank and compete in this area and that people are buying these items now. Something you might do at a lake or the beach over the summer and all year round really, so it's evergreen, but these are selling right now are fishing shirts. So this one is can't work today, my arm is in a cast. And if we take a look at the stats that Everbee reveals, we see this one is a listing that's been around for a while. It's 60 months old, and it's getting about 19 sales every month. Here we have a card about fishing. Holy Carp, it's your birthday. So I've often taken inspiration from cards and made shirts out of them. So maybe play on words with the carp and a fish, but maybe a phrase that makes more sense on a shirt. In this particular example, you could be cross-niching the fishing niche with the birthday niche. And when we take a deeper look here, we see this listing is 8 months old, and it's got a total of 189 sales, and it's averaging about 23 sales per month. So those are some good stats to encourage us to go this route. And I thought this one was interesting. It's a very simple graphic, and you get to put your own text. So I think this will sell well through the summer, and it probably was selling great for Father's Day also. Some other beach-related themes for you or ideas for you, and you can always go into Everbee if you do have that tool to kind of do your own research like I was just showing you. We've got boating, and with boating, there's, just to name really just a couple. Pontooning, hanging out at the sandbar, it's a big boating activity over the summer. Jet skiing, I do believe the word jet ski is trademark, so I don't think you'd want to use that exact word. Kayaking, I know I have a jet ski, and I know every summer while I'm on the jet ski and at the sandbar, I'm always looking around at what boat names are. Everyone names their boat. Tons of clever ideas that could go right on a shirt. So You can always do a Google search of boat names and get lots of funny ideas. Puns would also work well here. We already discussed fishing, but don't forget the power of niching down. So an example of that, something that would be doing great over the summer, spear fishing. And then don't forget, you can always cross niche any of these things with birthday themed or retirement themed. We've got scuba diving. We've also got sharks. Sharks is a very popular niche that would do very well during the summer months. Lobstering, an interesting one that doesn't spring to everyone's mind. Mini season for lobstering is in July, and then lobster season is August through March. So as they're going to be kicking that off in July and August, that could be something that would sell well. And last but not least, and really just really to get you started thinking about all the niches that could be related to these topics and to get your inspiration going, your creative juices flowing, surfing. So our first category, the water/beach related niches with our boating, kayaking, pontooning, and you could really go down the rabbit hole with just that kind of boating stuff. Hanging out on a sandbar, all of that is a thing. Then we've got the fishing, and you could break that down further with the spear fishing. Hit that from a birthday, cross-niching that with birthday, or cross-niching that with retiring. Lobstering, surfing, this is really just to name a few things that you could really go after for the July, August, September, those months. Things that could really sell well during those months. The tool I have been using there is Everbee. I do have a link to them down in the description if you wanted to check them out. They do have a free plan that you can use to just try. I did that for a week or two, and then I upgraded to the paid plan because I really liked having no limits on how many searches that I could do. But you could see that it's very useful when doing research like this. Our next summer category of niches we're going to chat about is outdoor types of activities. So there's a plethora. I just boiled it down to a couple to mention. RVing, camping, these are both big ones because you can even do group sales with these because people do these things together. Barbecuing, mountain biking, skateboarding, farming, and or chickens. Huge. I'm not even in these niches yet. I've sold lots of items in these niches, and you might be wondering how that is. But I do have items that you can custom the phrase. So people will buy items and they'll say, okay, well, on mine, they want a farming related phrase or they want a chicken related phrase. A number of items going out like that. So definitely a big niche there. Motorbiking, hiking. And hiking can be joined with that camping one that we just mentioned, or RVing, because a lot of times that's something you would do while you're camping or RVing. National parks. There are, I believe, 62 national parks in the United States of America. So then you can even branch down to specific national parks. You want to be careful with that. You want to make sure, I think some of them are trademarked. The names of the national parks are trademarked. But you can then also cross niche that with hiking or with camping or with RVing or maybe mountain biking, horseback riding. And that's another one you can pick up group sales in. So just with these couple that I mentioned, and this is by no means an exhaustive list, do a little research, see which ones appeal to you, and think about consistently listing in one of these areas or a couple of these areas over a period of time. And the last category, but certainly not least, is that category just throwing kind of everything together, the other category. So we've got some really good ones on this list. Thinking about getting into girls' trips, that's a big one, especially over the summer, and that can be obviously evergreen. Girls can go on trips at any time of the year, but that one does especially well during spring and summer. Bachelorette does especially good during spring and summer. Both of those are a way to pick up group sales as well. 4th of July definitely helped me my first year hitting all of the holidays. You might think when you hit the holidays, try to do it from a different angle. Perhaps pregnancy announcement shirts for 4th of July or bachelorette shirts for 4th of July, or funny couples shirts for 4th of July. These are kind of, different angles you could take on the 4th of July angle to try to be a little bit different and maybe not have as much competition there. Also look into whatever niches you're already in. Do some 4th of July versions of those niches. Back to school teacher shirts are going to sell well during July, August, and September. We mentioned beer shirts earlier, that there's an uptick of that over the summer. If you're into beer or craft beer, or there's some other subcategories of that niche you can get into, if you already enjoy that, then that might be something you would think about adding to your shop. And last but not least, the last one on my list is going to be road tripping. And this is because a lot of families do road trips over the summer. This can also be a tie-in to camping or to RVing, as people are, on a road trip to get to those destinations. Or a tie-in to national parks, as they're on a road trip to get to a national park or maybe a string of national parks. And this is also another one that you can get group sales out of. I hope you're feeling super motivated and really feeling like if you were taking a dip with your sales, I hope you feel like you have the information you need to now turn that around for yourself and to just kind of look at it in a different way and not feel so frustrated. Really kind of be looking, what do I need to do so that I can turn this around? You have to always be looking 45 days to 90 days down the road. And if you are making traction in a niche, then definitely go after that. That's more important than any of the things I just mentioned. If you're making traction in a couple of niches, first look into those. Are there different designs you can do that would sell well throughout the summer? And not all niches that's going to work out. So when that happens, then you have to kind of be thinking about, well, what is there a sister niche or like a niche that's kind of related that I can go into? And if nothing's popping into mind there, then just take another fresh look at it. Okay, what sells well 45 days, 90 days down the road? Let me get into some new niches. Let me make regular, consistent listings in these new niches to build those niches up so that I make sales during those particular months during the year. Then the following year, you'll hit those niches again. And that's the magic. Anywhere that you grabbed traction the first year, hit those again the second year, and then again the third year. You won't be sorry. I promise you that. I do hope you found lots of value here. I'll see you next in this video, but of course, right after this tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.